Hi, I'm Greg Filson, known from the BXG podcast. You can get that anywhere. I'm here to tell you about really great sunglasses from Ambassador Sunglasses. If you need any kind, any style, they really do a representation. Men or women, you'll find a perfect pair. Good prices, and with my promo code GTPHILS, all caps, you can get 50% off starting now. Yeah, please go ahead, get yourself a pair, get someone else a pair. They're a really good price. I can't recommend them highly enough. I've been wearing the 4 that I've got all the time, and I get compliments all the time. You will too. Ambassador Sunglasses, ambassador.com. Promo code GTPHILS.
Welcome to the BXG podcast, the podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet at the nexus of the universe. This is the only podcast, or at least one of the only podcasts on the internet in which you will get Marvel, Star Wars, and Kim Kardashian. Much to my own chagrin, perhaps. This is episode 61. I'll tell you what. Let me redo that tagline. The podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet at the nexus of the universe and are melded as seamlessly as Kim Kardashian and my burning anger.
Burning rage.
Yes. I'm one of your hosts, Brett Beswick, alongside my co-host, the Brian Windhorse of Kardashians, Greg Filson. Greg, how are you tonight?
Maybe a few cookies short of a Brian Windhorse, but I am on top of things, on top of the news there. I'm doing all right. Some people who have been around the podcast since the beginning will say that the 61st episode is the record they still hold and won't look at any other podcast past then as the record. So
who holds that record?
Roger Maris. Roger Maris.
I don't know what
61 is.
No.
Okay. I'm doing all right, Brendan. It's getting ready to prime up for a week off of teaching and all that good stuff. But how are you?
I can't complain. I'm excited. This weekend's a big weekend for watching TV and movies. Actually, just the next week in general. Cowboy Bebop is tomorrow. Wheel of Time starts tomorrow. Ghostbusters Afterlife this weekend, and then Hawkeye starts next week. So it's
like you knew people had time off.
It is like that. How about you do why don't you do the housekeeping?
I'll do the housekeeping
while
Excellent.
I write this stuff in here.
So housekeeping, BXG podcast publishes every Friday at 9 a.m. on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and other podcast services worldwide. Official BXG social media accounts on Facebook. Check the page for news and updates. The Instagram at BXG Podcast and Twitter at BXG Podcast. Plus static images for psychopaths and the pod at youtube.com/BXG podcast, where you can find our review of the Eternals and Spider-Man, the second trailer.
Yeah.
So we have that up there now too.
Yeah, it's not youtube.com/BXG podcast. I've just literally never taken that out. It's just, there's a link tree now in all the bios for Instagram, Twitter, where you can kind of find whatever your preferred method of consuming the podcast is, and then also the YouTube channel, because there is stuff we do that's YouTube exclusive. The trailer reactions at this point are pretty much YouTube exclusive. We might do some exclusive movie reviews because we were talking about just how much there is for next week, and we weren't sure if we were going to have time to squeeze Ghostbusters into into the podcast, so we might just do a video for it. It's kind of up in the air. But
when we release our cryptocurrency, that will be, video only.
I don't know what that means. Crypto.com arena.
Crypto.com arena currency.
That's horrible. The Staples Center is being changed. The name of the Staples Center, which is one of the iconic arenas in sports, and it's going to be, when is that the changeover? It's like December,
Christmas
January.
Day.
Christmas Day. It becomes Crypto.com arena. That's awful. That's awful.
The crypt. That's what people are going to call it, the crypt.
The crypts. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think
that's actually when you spin it that way.
I literally just came up with that right now. I'm not kidding. That was not something I've thought about at all.
Right.
The crypts.
We have a listener write in. It's John Kish writes in and says the Monongahela River is not in the top 5 most toxic rivers in the U.S., but shout out to the BXG podcast for making him research rivers at the age of 39 or however the whole old John is.
That's incredible that he did it. I guess my thing on if you're going most toxic rivers in the United States, if you're on the list at all, that's kind of it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I don't know. John is he's a heel for the BXG. He's always talking trash, but we appreciate it. We appreciate it. But anyway,
well here.
Yeah,
I'm still not.
He didn't provide number one.
No,
he didn't provide any statistics.
It's probably number 6.
Yeah, it's number 0.
Actually, it's the Allegheny and the Ohio are 1 and 2, and then the Monongahela is 6 somehow, even though it makes 0 sense.
Yeah, you know what? We're here. We're here. We might as well do this. Most toxic river in the U.S. Let's see. The most polluted, the Ohio River is number 1.
Oh my God. Once again, I'm just saying these things on the fly, but we do speak things into existence.
Ohio River
here.
number 1, 2, Mississippi 3, the Holston River, which is in Tennessee. Number 4, the Harpeth River, which is also in Tennessee. Number 5, the New River, which
good name.
I wonder how they came up with that one. Which is in North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia. That's the top 5. The Ohio River being number 1 is quite comical. It says, this article, you can look this up, environmentbuddy.com. This was not planned at all, by the way, this conversation. The environmentbuddy.com, we start off with the Ohio River, which has the undisputed title of being the most polluted river in the United States of America by a country mile.
Right. AK Steel Corporation is the main offender for it. U.S. industrial waste.
Yeah, there you go.
Really high mercury levels in that fish.
Yeah,
so
high levels of pesticide.
Watch out.
So there you go. Well, where does the Ohio River start? At the confluence of the Monongahela and the.
And that's my thing is
how.
And I feel like if we do this, we eventually run into Buzz Lightyear territory, and I don't think I have the mind for that right now.
Right. Toxic rivers aside, we have a great show tonight. We've got Disney Plus Day, everything that was announced. Everything that's been updated, everything announced. Yeah, it's a lot. The Red Notice review, the challenge. Let's see, a lot of Marvel news, pop culture potpourri, media recommendations, etc. We'll go into media recommendation, or I'm sorry, not media recommendation. I'm sorry, I think I just had a stroke. Disney Plus Day, which was last Friday, November 12th. I'm just going to run through everything that was added on that day. So these are things that are already on the service. Shang-Chi, Jungle Cruise, Home Sweet Home Alone, Olaf Presents, Olaf Presents a short collection from Walt Disney Animation Studios, Ciao Alberto, which is also a short, The World According to Jeff Goldblum Season 2, Under the Helmet, The Legacy of Boba Fett, Marvel Studios 2021 Disney Plus Day Special, The Simpsons in Pulseversary short, Enchilados, which is a animated movie, I believe, The Making of Happier Than Ever, A Love Letter to Los Angeles, Marvel Assembled, The Making of Shang-Chi, Marvel Studio Legends, Hawkeye, Enchanted, Spin, and Fancy Nancy Season 3.
Yeah.
So there's that. Now, up next is the everything that was announced. Okay. So why don't we take these? Let's just take them kind of as they come. Number one, I would say, is Agatha, House of Harkness, starring Catherine Hahn, a spinoff from WandaVision, which was widely rumored, has been officially confirmed. There was a logo shown as well.
I mean, that's gonna be cool. I think that's a really good little twist, little background with Agatha. And everybody really liked everybody likes Catherine Hahn to begin with, and then this kind of propelled her into Marvel universe. And this will be a fun show.
Spider-Man Freshman Year, an animated show that will follow a younger version of Tom Holland's Peter Parker, was announced.
It should be fun. I think that, if we're getting the young version of everybody, Ned, MJ, that'll be a cool little thing. As long as it's, as Ned is involved. Like I said, Ned's one of my favorite characters in the Marvel universe that isn't a superhero. As long as we get Ned, I'm down.
Number 3 is a full animated series for Marvel Zombies.
We don't need that.
No.
We thought that would be a cool episode of What If, and then it turned out it was just blah, and we don't need a series about it. So
it was my favorite episode, but I still don't need a series about it. An animated series for I Am Groot that included a logo with Baby Groot was announced. I'm sure my daughter will love this. She loves Groot.
I was gonna say this is like straight up for the kids.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is fine.
There's some new, let's see, Echo, a Hawkeye spinoff was announced.
All right.
Yep, that was the thing.
That's the thing.
Let's see. There's some new logos for some of the other shows that had already been announced. There's a new logo for Iron Heart. I'm trying to kind of parse this out to see if there's any more Marvel specific stuff.
My favorite thing was the X-Men 97.
Yeah, X-Men 97, which will be a new series, but it will pick up where the animated series from the 90s left off. So that's pretty cool.
I'm stoked for that. That is going to be awesome.
That was pretty cool. Or at the very least interesting. A preview for some concept art was shown from the Obi-Wan series, but no trailer was shown. Did you check out the concept art?
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah,
not shocked.
It would appear as though there's going to be an Obi-Wan Vader fight, which is going to be interesting to see how they handle that, because I think everybody's impression from the movies is that they fight at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan has the higher ground, obviously.
Yes.
Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one, obviously.
Yes.
And then they don't fight again until A New Hope. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of piece that together. Let's see. A new car series featuring Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy called Cars on the Road will be debuting in 2020.
Where else would they be?
In the shop?
I guess, yeah. In the shop.
Why do you want that though? Why do you park in a driveway and drive on a parkway?
English language, man.
Baymax, a series based on the characters of Big Hero 6, will hit streaming services. The streaming service in the summer of 2022. The first clips revealed from Peter Jackson's Beatle documentary Get Back was shown, and the special begins on November 25th of this year. You're a Beatles guy. Do you have any interest in this?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much one of those. If you give me a Beatles documentary, a Grateful Dead documentary, I'm just kind of in.
Yeah,
I think that'll be fun. Give me more. Give me whatever content you can give me.
Let's see here. Chippendale Rescue Rangers, an animated film starring Andy Samberg and John Mulaney, will arrive spring 2022. Will John Mulaney be doing cocaine?
As long as he's back on coke, I'm in.
Yeah,
but I need that confirmed. I need that confirmed.
Wow.
Get well, but not too well, John.
Our first look at the Sanderson sisters of Hocus Pocus 2 was shown, which will arrive in fall of 2022. So if you're excited for that, live action Pinocchio starring Tom Hanks, Luke Evans, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and more will debut in fall of 2022.
No, count me out. I don't need live action Pinocchio. It just sounds way too creepy.
Right.
Nightmare fuel indeed.
I'm a real boy. Live action.
And who's the real boy? Is it Joseph Gordon-Levitt or is it gonna be Luke Evans? That'd be weird.
I don't know.
Or is it Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks, I'm sure, is Geppetto.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know.
Jiminy Cricket's gonna be Luke Evans, and then Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's like 40, is gonna be Pinocchio. So he is a real boy.
He's a little fella though.
He is. I think he's short. I've never met him.
He seems short to me. Ice Age: The Adventures of Buck Wild, starring Simon Pegg, joins the service on January 28th of 2022. Cheaper by the Dozen reboot releases in March of 2022. Disenchanted, the sequel to Enchanted, starring that one Ginger and McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy.
Fair enough.
It's Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. Okay.
Yeah. That comes in 2022. Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie will be in 2022. Better Nate Than Never will premiere spring of 2022. Here's what I know. Greg's super excited because he's a huge Will Smith fan these days. There was a trailer shown for National Geographic, Will Smith Welcome to Earth, which will debut December 11th, and then Limitless with Chris Hemsworth. No official date, but 2022 were shown, as well as a trailer for Nat Geo series America the Beautiful. So I love that it's Welcome to Earth, because he says in Independence Day, "Welcome to Earth, bitch," and then punches an alien in the face. So I like that.
I'll tell you what,
I like tongue in cheek.
I like that. It's not even Will Smith's fault that it's just everything's about Will Smith all the time right now. Like, I understand he's in movies and this is his PR, but it's like, I literally don't care.
What's he doing besides that Williams sister movie, King Richard?
This show, and I'm sure something. He has a book. So it's like all these things all happen at once, and it's like, okay, the PR is just so much, and it's like, Will Smith, like, you used to be awesome, you're no longer awesome, and I don't need it in my life. I'm sorry. Okay. That's where I'm at. But I am stoked for Chris Hemsworth, Limitless.
Yeah, that looks kind of neat.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that he's going to be doing, that's more about like human, like what the human body can take, rather than like animal stuff, which I feel like is what Nat Geo is more well known for.
The thing I will say is that I'll add, what Chris Hemsworth can take, slightly different than what
I can take.
Need to take. Yeah, like a little different. The physical, like I could literally have the exact same diet and work out exactly like he does. I'm not looking like Chris Hemsworth because there's something he has that he has something I don't. There's just there's a missing thing there, and so it's what he can take, which is fine. Right. Yeah. But there is a difference.
Yeah.
He is literally Thor.
Big difference there. Proud Family Louder and Prouder received a new trailer and will debut February of 2022. Another one.
Proud Family.
Huh?
I'm just Proud Family. I remember that. That was like 20 years ago.
I don't remember it at all. Another one Greg is super excited for, Sneakerella, will debut February 18th of 2022.
And we saved the best for last.
Saying this name.
Well, they make
Like,
fun of it too. This is like
they
part
better.
it's part of the whole thing,
High School Musical, the series,
which is true. The title of the show is actually factual to what the show is. And it's it's honestly, it's like The Office. It is supposed to be like a teenager version of The Office. They really, for that concept, they do it really well. I will 100% say that.
I'm genuinely distraught that you know what this is.
Oh, Olivia Rodrigo's in it.
Season 3 will feature songs from Frozen, cool. And will return in 2022.
I was literally just asking about this and I saw this. I'm like, yes.
And that is all of the announcements.
That's everything. We have you covered.
Yeah. So any major takeaways?
Like I said, I mean, the X-Men 97 is probably the thing that got me like the most pumped, just because I absolutely love that show. You know, as a kid, and then I rewatched it like 4 years ago, and I was like, oh, so like I still really like this because this is actually just a good show. So I think that's probably like the thing for me. Chip and Dale, if John Mulaney is doing just the right amount of cocaine, I'm excited about because I like Chip and Dale. You know, I'm looking forward to the nightmares that the commercials for Pinocchio will give me. That will be fun. Some good nightmares. Yeah, other than that, you know, High School Musical, the musical, the series, probably gonna bang.
There's got to be a better way to say that you're excited for that. There has to be. There was a couple other
the musical, the series, the Greg's gonna like show.
There, that's better, but still distressing. There was some other stuff. We're actually going to get to it in the topic later. Here's where I'm at. Okay, is they announced 1, 2. Oh, I'm sorry, we missed one. Warwick Davis took fans behind the scenes for a look at the Willow original series. If you liked that movie back in the 80s with Warwick Davis, a young Warwick Davis, and Val Kilmer as well. Val Kilmer will not reprise his role as Mad Mardigan for this because I believe he has lost the ability to speak.
Yeah, it's a little rough for him, but that documentary about him is really good.
Yeah. So they announced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things for Marvel were announced. And there was a concept art shown for a Star Wars thing. So here's where I'm at. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And I think that we are headed that way at the speed of light with Marvel.
It's looking that way.
I think that scarcity of things is what makes them interesting, exciting, what have you. And so now between movies, live action TV shows, and animated things, there's going to be a new Marvel thing every other fucking week between here and the apocalypse. And, you know, the next thing on our plate for Star Wars is the Book of Boba Fett. And it'll be the first thing that we've gotten in a year since The Mandalorian. And in that time, we've had WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye, Spider-Man. 9 things in one year. And it's only going to get worse. It's not going to be good.
I mean, this is backlash to the last trilogy not, you know, being a thing.
It is, but
and then
I also make it also. I'm so excited for Star Wars TV because it's in the right hands. Oh, we got Bad Batch. I forgot about Bad Batch.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
So two Star Wars things, but I'm so excited for Star Wars TV because it's in the right hands.
Yeah,
and we're going to get to a little bit of that later as well. But that's where I'm at right now. Is I just think that we're, to borrow from one universe into the other, where we're headed towards oversaturation in hyperspeed right now.
Yes.
Like, hit the thrusters, Chewie. We're getting out of here. Is what's happening.
It almost feels like it's really at the point where they're just like, let's see how much crap we can throw in the wall. And I'm not saying it's crap. I'm just saying they're really just seeing what they can get away with. And I understand it. It's just, that's what they're doing.
And some of it certainly is, like you said, the I Am Groot thing, and probably to a certain extent the Spider-Man thing, are geared towards a younger audience.
Yeah.
But I just, there's so much Marvel, and it was like when we had time between Far From Home and the next thing that finally came along was WandaVision, there was such a long wait that the anticipation for that was so much higher. And I think that I appreciated those, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, especially because that was the first thing that we had gotten in a while. But then now that it's just like you're being beaten over the head with Marvel stuff all the time, pump the brakes. Like, let's maybe dial it back a little bit. But that's just me. It's just one man's opinion. So, but overall, there's a lot coming for a lot of different. It's not just all. And that's the thing about Disney Plus Day. It's not all Marvel. It's not all Star Wars. There's there's Cars stuff. There's Pixar stuff. There's Sneakerella, which I know Greg's super excited for.
Yeah, sure.
High School Musical, the series, the musical, the short, the stage play.
I hope so.
Fuck that whole thing, man. I mean, that was
it's a lot. Heart. And then I watched it because I was making fun of it. I was like, well, Olivia Rodrigo, let me watch it. So I was like, just having like a bummer of a day. And then I watched it. I was like, okay, this is actually like, it's fine. We'll move on though from one streaming service to another. Red Notice review. Red Notice starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot, friend of the program. The film follows Nolan Booth, Reynolds, the world's second best art thief, and FBI profiler John Harley, The Rock Johnson, as they race the Bishop Gadot to Cleopatra's third bejeweled eggs while being hunted by Interpol agents. So,
spoiler free to start.
Just to say, this was in theaters first, and we waited until it was on. Yeah, so it was in theaters first, and then we watched it for the first weekend it was on Netflix. So Brenton, what did you think? Spoiler free.
I mean, it's kind of exactly what I thought it would be. It's not quite the totally over the top action of Fast and the Furious, but it's headed in that direction. And again, spoiler free. Some of the action is, but it's not like oversaturated with action. That's the other thing. Ryan Reynolds is kind of a weird guy to me, because I feel like Ryan Reynolds is just Ryan Reynolds.
Sure.
In everything that he's in. And the sort of snarky, sarcastic comedy is decent in small doses, but over the course of an entire 2-hour film, it kind of got grating to me by the end of it. There is a plot twist that I think is fairly easy to diagnose as the movie progresses. But overall, I mean, I kind of felt like this being almost like a poor man's National Treasure or something like that. It did. I mean, it hit the spot. I think I wasn't expecting this to be like grand cinema. You know what I mean? It's a movie with these three jabronis, no pun intended. And, they're all very attractive people and they're doing attractive things, basically. And it was, it was a vehicle to kind of get all these three together. It was funny at times. The action was good most of the time. I thought it was paced pretty well. There wasn't there's no major complaints from me about this movie. It's just other than maybe, like I said, maybe a little bit too much of the snarky Ryan Reynolds sarcasm, but it's exactly what I expected it to be. It's like a solid 7 of a movie.
It's the number I threw out when I actually said this after we got done watching it, was that the 7. It's funny. You remember before, like, Netflix put movies out in theaters consistently and everything, and it was just like, to me, this was that perfect, like, this is the Netflix version of this movie.
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie.
It's a Netflix movie that's like the perfect version of that, though. Like, it's as top of the line as, like, before Netflix started, getting nominated for Academy Awards and winning awards and things like that. This is that top level of, like, those Netflix movie where, like, they hit all the tropes in this movie. They do all those things kind of perfectly fine. It's just funny enough. I will admit, like, even though, like, I really like Ryan Reynolds and I like the way his humor is, eventually that's just going to wear you down, because every time he comes on, it's going to be something snarky. And I would actually feel like it actually dropped for me in the middle, and then at the end he kind of picked me back up. So it was more of it hit me harder in the middle than it did at the end of, like, actually being a little grating. And then you have The Rock, which this is, like I said, I like the Fast and the Furious Rock is my favorite Rock, where he's just being a badass and, like, a little cussing. He's not trying to be like the family man in that sense of, like, he is in the kids movies or whatever. In some of his action movies, he's even like a family man. He's, a tough guy, which I like. And then Gal Gadot is just, being Gal Gadot. She's being, sexy. She's being funny, just enough action. She is Wonder Woman. So all these people are doing exactly what they should be doing. Like you said, I have no complaints with the movie. It was, like, perfectly timed. The pace was good, but also, like, it was just enough of a movie. Like, if it's 5 minutes longer, I probably would have been like, that was too long. But it actually had, like, the right amount of pacing. So yeah, like you said, 7 is the exact number I threw out too.
So, spoiler alert.
Red notice.
Spoiler alert. Was there anything in particular, that stuck with you as far as, like, characters, getting into the specifics a little bit more, any of the plot details, so on and so forth?
I mean, the twist wasn't like, oh my God, the twist. But there was enough twist in this movie too to just be, like, right, in the sense of, this is the kind of, we're doing a heisty movie. Like, it's like a National Treasure, like, and there was just enough of, like, oh, they're following me. Well, how are they following me? Oh, because they were following you, and all this stuff, like, all these, like, little things that you're gonna appreciate if you're watching a movie like this. I'm glad I didn't see it in the theaters, and not that, I'm glad I didn't spend, that extra bit of money to do that. Right. That would have felt a little weird, knowing that I could have watched it on Netflix. It's not like something like that where seeing it on the big screen makes a difference. I actually think seeing it on the small screen might make it better, because of the, take a little break, and then, or you're, like, on your phone. You're not missing, the plot is not intense enough that you're not missing anything by, like, being on your phone or something, scrolling through, whatever. And then, if it might be the way too, is, like, those jokes by Ryan Reynolds, like, you'll hear one that sticks out and it's, like, a little funnier to you than if you're paying attention the full way. I would just say there's really nothing to spoil other than, like, the twist is funny enough. It's, you definitely see it coming.
So we're in spoiler territory, so we can talk.
So, like, The Rock and Gal Gadot working together, after it's Ryan Reynolds and The Rock working together the entire time, is a pretty solid twist. The only thing I always have a problem with is, like, I cannot take The Rock seriously as, like, someone that has, like, a female, like, person in his life in any movie. I just can't. I don't know what it is. Like, he has no chemistry with anyone. It's really funny. That's why I also like him in the Fast and Furious movies, because he doesn't have chemistry with the Thing. I mean, it's just like, he literally calls, Letty woman. Like, he just looks at, and so that's what another thing is. That's not something he possesses in his. He does not have the charm to him, like, woo a woman. He has the charm to be like, I'm going to kick your ass, and that's his charm. I cannot take him seriously, being in a relationship with Gal Gadot in any world. And it's not looks wise, it has nothing to do with that. Rock's obviously an attractive, muscular, great dude. It's just that he does not possess that sort of charm that you would say, like, in that movie, is that Ryan Reynolds possesses that charm.
Yeah.
And that's just that thing where that's the only little issue I had, was, like, oh, The Rock just doesn't give me that. I just never see him have a connection like that with anyone in any movie ever.
Yeah.
And that's just
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I like The Rock a lot more than you do as an actor. But I actually couldn't agree more with you when the twist is revealed and they like share this like supposedly passionate kiss. It's just like, oh, that looks weird to me. I don't like that at all.
And The Rock has a family, and I'm sure
Right.
he's kissed his wife, but
Sure.
it just doesn't. It honestly looks like he like practiced on a pillow before he kissed Gal Gadot. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like maybe it's jealousy because it's like, oh man, The Rock, you know, because she's very beautiful, and maybe that's what it is, but also. No, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't
It'd
work.
be different if this is the first time I've seen it, like him in a movie like that, but he just doesn't work with anyone like that. And that's what makes the Fast and Furious movies to me so much better, is that
that's what I'm saying
never has that.
About like, but that's the thing. Like, did you watch the Jumanji movies?
No, I haven't watched the Jumanji.
So you would like them, I think.
Okay.
Because he's not like that. That's not the type of character he's playing. So the Jumanji movie, and this is, I guess, spoilers for Jumanji since we're here. They go into a video game and they choose their avatar. So like the kid who is The Rock outside of the game is this nerdy, really insecure kid.
Okay.
And then the kid that picks Kevin Hart is like the big football player guy. So then they like play on that, where now the nerdy kid is The Rock, and he's just like an ass kicker, and the big football guy's little pipsqueak Kevin Hart. So I really think, like, from everything you've said about The Rock and the Fast and Furious, and that's the version of The Rock you like, I do genuinely believe you would like the Jumanji movies. The first one's significantly better than the second one. I will say that. Like the first one's like an 8 and the second one's like a 5.5.
Okay. And you know, and not to take aside from this movie, because literally that's the last 10 minutes of this movie or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, all up to this point is what you want from The Rock.
Yeah.
And you know, just a little funny, not trying to be too funny, because when he gets too funny, I don't really like that, but just funny enough, but kicking ass, being The Rock, giving a look here and there. So that's good. And like you said, the Ryan Reynolds stuff, it can get a little tiring. Gal Gadot never gets tiring for me in any way, shape, or form. So I'm good with that the whole time. I actually thought the first half of the movie, I was like, where's Gal Gadot? Like, I was getting actually mad. There's a time where I like paused it and I'm like, where is she? Because this is ridiculous. And then she's in the second half of the movie pretty much the entire time. So
final thoughts. I certainly believe that with the ending that this is set up for a sequel.
Oh yeah.
So
for sure.
I would imagine within the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to get Red Notice 2 from Netflix. I mean, if they're going to make another Extraction movie, for God's sakes, they're going to make a Red Notice movie. They said this was the most streamed film on its debut day that Netflix has ever had, was Red Notice.
Pretty crazy.
They break records like that constantly, I think.
True.
Because Extraction was that also.
Yeah.
And then other things like they break their own records constantly. And I wonder if they just say shit.
That's probably it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because what's stopping them, and how they have the numbers, whatever.
It was like the whole Amazon Prime thing said that Coming to America, the sequel,
right? Oh, that's right.
Was the most streamed movie of the pandemic. It's like, show me your data.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
I'll be honest, I forgot we watched that movie.
We did watch that movie.
I'm thinking about making a podcast episode and just putting it out and having it be every movie we reviewed this year.
Wow.
And it's just recut, because I have all the old episodes saved.
Right.
That I could just go into the audio files and cut them all together, and from beginning to end.
That would be insane.
Yep. Well, not including like the Marvel movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
I mean like the actual
the new release.
The new releases. So you'd get like Black Widow and Shang-Chi and Eternals, but not like the 23 episodes.
Okay. That was like, holy cow. If you did that,
no, I'm not going to do that. That's crazy talk. So Red Notice, we both said it was about a 7. If you have a Netflix subscription, there's no reason not to give this movie.
Yeah, it's definitely put it on. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Guaranteed good time.
Just don't expect, like
I said, it's a top of the line Netflix movie when Netflix didn't win Academy Awards, which is a good thing. I think that's a compliment. This is literally it's
a quintessential Netflix movie. We move on to the challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies. Devin is a bitch. I don't remember writing that. The Ruby Cell and Sapphire Cell make an agreement that one of them will win the daily challenge, and they will vote in a guy, as this is the guy's elimination day, from the Emerald Cell. Just call them teams. It's the red team, the blue team, the green team.
Much easier.
The daily challenge is a 3-way hall brawl in which the first team to collect 26 of dynamites wins. Kyle being Kyle happens in the same way that Manny being Manny often happened. And he accidentally takes a stick from the Sapphire team, which causes Tori to get into a verbal altercation with Josh for some reason. The Sapphire team wins the day despite only having 3 people. And the real highlight of the challenge is when Casey rocks Tori twice, knocking her over. Kyle pleads that he not be voted in for his mistake, but the agency decides to send him in a challenge that involves jumping and stamina. Kyle somehow defeats Josh, sending him home. He chooses to steal Logan's spot and rejoin Sapphire so that CT can't vote him in again. I was genuinely surprised that Josh lost this. I felt like this was set up for Josh to win.
Oh, wow. Like, I thought it was completely the other way around.
Well, there was no thinking involved.
That's true. But it's like, I mean, Kyle's shown that he's a good athlete on this show.
Sneaky athlete.
Sneaky
I would
athlete.
say sneaky athlete.
Josh is still, I mean, the thing is, like, Josh was like, this is endurance. And, but.
And being able to time when you jump.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing that was genuinely distressing to me. And I didn't understand why they just stood at the end of the platform.
When you had the whole bridge to run.
Yes.
Yeah. That was weird.
That drove me nuts.
This was one of those ones where I was like, man, I'd love to watch a professional athlete do this.
Oh, they'd have been done in 5 minutes.
It'd be like, that'd be so much fun to watch, though, because it would just be like, you would see the difference between the 4th major sport and like the NBA.
Right.
And that's the thing. Not that, we know these are professional athletes. It's just a different level of watching,
Right.
It would be so much fun to watch. I mean, we always say like LeBron, but like literally any NBA player as any, could do this. And so it'd be so much fun. That was like my first, I was like, God, I would love to watch just a professional athlete do this and have a great time. It was so weird. I felt like, other than being the bitch part, I felt like Devin, I wasn't rooting for anyone because I was like, I don't really care. There was a part of me that was like, I'm probably more okay if Kyle wins just because it adds more chaos to the show. Josh wins doesn't add any more chaos. It just eliminates chaos. So that was that. I was surprised that Josh was so upset that Kyle picked him when he's like, well, it was only 30%. It's like, that's still a number that's more than 0. So, I can't trust anybody in this house. And also it's just, Kyle, his actual best shot of winning would have been, not knowing anything, would have been picking Devin. And I understand they're best friends and everything, but there is this weird thing where it's like, well, I got to do this for my kids. I'm doing this for my kids, but I can't pick my best friend.
Right.
I'm sorry, Brenton, if we were in this and it's like, oh, you have to run 20 miles. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm probably going to pick Brent. We're best buds, but
I can't run 20 feet.
And I was like, I think I got this one. I got this one. Like, we'll be friends after it. He understands the show. And like, but Devin doesn't understand the show. And we quickly learned that because he's just upset anytime anyone does anything. So I think he's starting to get the loser's mentality, which is bad. He doesn't have the winner's mentality. He has the more I'm trying not to lose instead of trying to win.
Right.
And that's not good because I like Devin. I've talked about how much I like Devin, but the last like 3 episodes, he's just been like kind of weird, like very scared, very thinking everyone's like out to get him. It's like literally no one said that. And this is a game that you used to know how to play and now you're kind of losing it.
So just to turn the tables a little bit, if it were a hall brawl, And my options were you and literally anybody else I know.
You're gonna take me.
I'm gonna pick you.
I would this is how I would be. Like, if we're in the challenge and they do the little, the little confessional thing and be like, you know what? Like, I think Brenton's gonna get voted in. I'm really hoping it's on a brawl. I hope there's nothing, if it's a physical thing.
Physical.
Yeah, I was like, if it's physical, like, if it's endurance, all right, I'll feel more comfortable. But yeah, if it's anything physical, gonna take that L. I'm gonna give it my all. But I'm probably gonna come out here with a broken limb if it's something.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. Like, now I'm thinking we could probably do something fun with that. Anyway, so
we definitely could.
Where is female winner, female dark horse, male winner, male dark horse for you?
CT.
You can't really power rank these things because the team is weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. CT is still my winner.
Yeah.
My dark horse is. I don't even know if it's a dark horse. I just think it's Devin, because I don't understand this thing where like people are still okay with Devin. Yeah. Female winner, I'm flipping the switch to Casey after watching her just
annihilate
Tori. Like, yes. It was like she Doctor Strange Tori.
Yeah,
she hit her so hard that like Tori's spirit came out. I mean, it was gnarly. And then dark horse, I'll say Nani's my dark horse now, because once again, like, we've forgotten that Nani exists on the show, and that happens with her sometimes, and why she sometimes makes it farther. So that's why I'll say her.
As we've said, CT is the favorite until he is somehow eliminated. Dark horse at this point, I kind of have to say Kyle. It was Josh. Here's the thing is, I think everybody forgot Logan got hurt at some point.
Yeah.
And when that comes back on a final, and I just generally don't think the rookies are prepared to do the final. It's a different animal. So that leaves Devin, who I don't think is in physically great shape. Nelson, who isn't in mentally great shape, friend of the program. I actually have an update on him. And then Kyle. And as I've said, when nuclear winter happens, it's cockroaches and Kyle Christie. He's going to figure out a way to survive. So I think he's a good dark horse. And then I'll stick with my same two from last week, which is Casey as the favorite and Emmy as the dark horse.
Sure.
I have two separate pieces of challenge information. We'll take the more heartfelt one first. Corey has said that he's going to be taking some time off from the challenge. Ryder has requested that he stay home for a while, and he's going to do the dad thing. So, which is probably what he should do. But it got me thinking, Bananas isn't going to be on next season. Wes is not going to be on next season. Corey's not going to be on next season. Now we know Leroy's retired. There was a whole spread in one of those magazines about his decision to retire because MTV didn't really do anything to Camilla after her racist rant in whatever season it was.
Yeah.
So no Leroy, no Bananas, no Wes, no Corey. I'm thinking CT's taking the season off because he's doing that movie.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Kyle's going to take a season off because he just had a baby.
Slim pickings.
Yeah. It's Fessy will win, but there will be a CT size asterisk beside it.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like it's set up for Fessy to win, and so when he actually doesn't, it'd be so funny.
Even better.
Yeah.
So there's that. As we wind down this season and kind of look towards next season, there's a chance that it could be severely lacking in the male talent department. This was given to me by John Kish. Double Nelly T was assaulted in Vegas because he was hitting on a woman who was married and her husband was drunk. This is all secondhand information. I haven't done any of the research to confirm this. And based on what I've learned from John and the things that he has to say, I do need to maybe start trying to confirm some of these claims that he's making, because he's not always the most reliable source when it comes to data. the person allegedly assaulted Nelson and stole his chain.
Yeah.
But then he was apprehended and the chain was returned. My question was it Corey and Nelson that apprehended him? But apparently it was the authorities. So
he suffered a broken nose. So
okay. So there is
I see a picture of him, too, with his nose bleeding.
Okay.
Yep. So
all right. There you go. There you have it.
There you have it. We're a news source, the best news source for Double Nelly T, friend of the program.
For Double Nelly T News.
Yeah, that's what the subsection of this pod will be at some point.
That is the episode name.
We'll just
Double Nelly T News.
Double Nelly T News. Weather on the 6s. Heavy metal. I keep saying, every time I've looked at this, I keep saying heavy metal news. Heavy Marvel news. As part of Disney Plus Day, which we discussed all the items added to and confirmed to be coming to the streaming service, there were teaser trailers for Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, and She-Hulk, as well as a still frame glimpse at a grizzled and patchless Nick Fury in Secret Invasion. In other Marvel news, Doctor Strange 2 undergoing significant reshoots with Benedict Cumberbatch and director Sam Raimi working 6-day weeks from now until the end of the year. Sources are mixed on why the reshoots are occurring and how much of it is new material. Doctor Strange is not the only MCU on pause, as Black Panther 2 is currently in shutdown while Shuri actor Letitia Wright recovers from an onset accident, probably because she isn't vaccinated. The planned reshoots and shutdown on Black Panther could certainly play into the delays that were announced in recent weeks.
I don't think that has any bearing on whether like break your arm.
No, I know. She's a major anti-vaxxer, and it's sort of funny because she's like the scientist on Black Panther 2.
There is some irony there. So the teaser trailers, Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, and She-Hulk.
Yeah.
How do you you watched these? Yeah.
I mean, Moon Knight, when you and I first discussed it and we looked into it more, it's like, well, that's just gonna be badass because it's Oscar Isaac. Like that's an all-in for me.
It's also gonna be badass because it's basically Batman.
Right. It's just Marvel's Batman.
Yeah.
Which, it's their Iron Man's Marvel's Batman, but this is also like another Marvel's Batman thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Miss Marvel, that's gonna be cool. And She-Hulk, I think She-Hulk has this thing where they're showing things, and I don't know what the expectations are, but the whole thing about the She-Hulk comic book was everything was like super tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
And like making fun of society.
Right. And I think they nailed that. It's early, but I think that's the tone that they're going for.
Yeah. And that's the tone they're going for. So I think like based on expectations, I think, Moon Knight's obviously it looks cool. It's going to be cool. I think She-Hulk's gonna be one of these things where, at first people are like in on it. And then it becomes like almost this cultural phenomenon where like people who could care less about Marvel are like, oh, well, did you see the episode of She-Hulk? She like the whole episode was like making fun of something that just is within the news cycle or whatever. Right. And I think that's really going to be, and then the Miss Marvel, I think that's just, that's to me, like the most like down the middle of these. In the sense of like
weak. It looks like the weakest of the three.
That's what I'm saying. It's just down the middle. It's just it's a fastball. It's just straight. It's 95 down the middle. It might be a hit. It may not be. I'm not really that concerned either way, to be honest.
Right.
It's just it is what it is. I think the book ends here with Moon Knight and She-Hulk. Bam, count me in 100%. Ms. Marvel, I'll watch. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So in terms of. There's not really a whole lot to say about Black Panther 2 and the delays there, the shutdown. She suffered an onset accident. I think it was something to do with her arm or shoulder.
Yeah.
From everything that I've read online, the Doctor Strange 2 stuff seems to be new. If the sources that I have are to be believed, it's because they're adding a lot of content.
Yeah.
And it is, I'm not gonna divulge my sources, but I can say that it is being discussed that Doctor Strange is where the X-Men are going to make their appearance, specifically Charles Xavier. So I think that there is a strong possibility that they are being told you have to add X, Y, and Z, and that's what's happening, and that's why they're doing reshoots.
I think
so. I mean, you know, there's a in certain cases, you know, as you and I were talking privately, we kind of follow these things and we're pretty good at predicting things. We predicted the Venom crossover. We predicted some of the other things, you know, whatever, the Jeopardy thing, Carson Daly's rant about the Rolling Stone Top 500, which mirrored mine, like almost.
That was amazing.
But, you know, one of the other things, and we'll get to in a little bit, you know, Tom Holland saying, well, maybe they need to make a Miles Morales movie, which was directly discussed in our Spider-Man trailer reaction video. So I can say there was no inside baseball or inside information on any of those things. Those were just us talking and those things kind of happening. But I've read, I've seen, I've talked to people, you know, online, Twitter, DMs and stuff like that, that are pretty insistent that Professor X is coming in Doctor Strange 2. So you can kind of, you know, keep an eye on that. And that movie comes in the next year or so. I can't remember. I think it's in May.
It's in May.
Maybe June. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, so there's a lot to do. That was sort of the other big stuff that was coming with Disney Plus Day, as far as the teaser trailers, and then some of the other the news with the Marvel stuff. We move on to relationship news, or as we call it, the portion where Greg talks about celebrities and I shake my head in disgust. Kim Kardashian West and Pete Davidson made it official on Instagram while wearing matching pajamas, and Flavor Flav was in the room because nothing makes sense anymore. 2021 continues the 2020 trend, and this story falls right into that. On the other end of the spectrum, Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes ended their 2-year relationship. On Instagram, which is where news breaks first, apparently, Mendes said the couple started out as best friends and are still best friends despite their breakup. Greg wishes all 5 of the people mentioned the best going forward, especially Flavor Flav. Now I'm going to sit back and wait until the next topic starts.
So my favorite thing about this is, like, I see the photo and out of context, it was literally, it just kind of popped up on my Instagram and I'm like, is that Flavor Flav? And so my initial thing is to go to Kim's Instagram.
Sure.
And there's nothing there. And I'm like, well, this is odd. So I go to Pete Davidson's Instagram and there's nothing there. And I go to Kris Jenner's Instagram and I'm like, what is going on? This was on Instagram. And I'm like, so I go back and I research just the 5 seconds it takes to do that kind of research. And I'm like, this was on Flavor Flav's Instagram. And he calls Pete Davidson his adopted son. Now, that was a lot to unravel at the time of night when I noticed this, and the matching PJs, because nothing says relationship like matching PJs. And then it was later confirmed that they are dating. It's a wild world. Pete Davidson he's got some sort of magical powers that we don't know about. Good for him. I like Pete Davidson. Beyond all the celebrity stuff, I do enjoy his humor, mostly when he makes fun of Staten Island. That just cracks me up. And he's actually like pretty good at actor outside of SNL. So that was funny. I'm glad we saw Flavor Flav. I feel like there's this thing every 2 years, Flavor Flav just kind of rises up from the ashes like a phoenix. You think he's gone, and then he just says, yeah, Pete Davidson's my adopted son. So that was weird. And, you know, it's just Flavor Flav looks exactly the same. He's never changed. He's Flavor Flav forever. Bless his soul. Glad he's with us. The Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes ending their 2-year relationship. You know, I don't want to say that I saw this coming, but I saw this coming. They're just, you know, it's one of those things where they're super young. This wasn't meant to last. Good for them. I'm glad they're friends. You know, but there's many years to live, kids. You know, there's many years to live. And when you're that young and, you know, you're both on tour, you're not seeing each other a lot. That's tough. That's tough. I have no experience with that, but I just assume that that's tough. So I wish them the best going forward. Camila Cabello should do like a cooking show like Selena Gomez. I think that would be funny because she's got a bubbly personality. Shawn Mendes, you know, he's John Mayer light. So maybe he's got a continuum coming after all this, a little breakup music, a little, let's see what happens. So yeah, this is the relationship news of the week. And now we can we can let Breton stop doing whatever he's doing and move on to our potpourri.
I was actually looking for the picture just to see if he had the big clock necklace.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I couldn't.
I'm surprised that the pajamas weren't a clock. And
right,
if Flavor Flav wants to send me pajamas, he can. Sure. You know, he'll be a friend of the program if he does. They look like good pajamas. Are you a pajama person, Brenton?
No, it's too hot.
Yeah, same. I don't like too much clothes, but I like the idea of pajamas. It's like I've always liked the idea of a robe, but I can't wear it. I like the idea of it.
Yeah, sure. No, it's not a clock. I have it.
No, it's something else.
Who's the Asian woman in the picture?
Isn't it just Kim, Pete, and then Chris?
Oh, that's Kris Jenner.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought that was an Asian man, actually. I thought that was like Psy. I thought they were doing like a Gangnam Style thing. Whoops. Glasses threw me off. I'm sorry. I apologize if that offended anyone.
Okay. So that was amazing.
He's got like it looks like a hang on.
Right? It's fun to dissect this photo.
Well, it's like I don't care about literally any of it other than it looks like a Team USA soccer logo.
It could be.
Yeah. And then
big Pulisic guy.
There's a lot. Anyway. Moving on. Yes. You're up.
I know. I just got to regain my, because that was hilarious. Okay, so moving on to the pop culture potpourri. Britney is free, bitch. Yes. Officially, Britney is out of conservatorship. So we'll see what happens. I've had a couple of people say they're just thinking the clock is ticking for her to do something bad. I don't think that's the case. I think that she probably has other people still helping her out, making sure she doesn't do anything. Like there was a thing where she was initially granted that and then waiting, and she put out the nudie pics and people were concerned. She didn't do anything like that this time. She literally took a video of her fans like cheering for her, and she was crying, and so that was great. So I think this is the beginning of the rest of her life, and we'll see what happens. And I think this is going to be good news for Britney. Both Patty Jenkins and Rian Johnson's Star Wars projects are being
Patty, come on, Ron Burgundy.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm freaking Ron Burgundy. I'm Ron Burgundy. I said it, and I was going to go back and correct it. Both Patty Jenkins and Rian Johnson's Star Wars projects are being shelved over creative differences, according to IGN. According to the article, former THR editor and noted insider Matthew Baloney reports that issues between Jenkins and the studio caused the film to be taken off Lucasfilm's production schedule. Specifically, Baloney reports that the issues have revolved around the film script, stating that Jenkins and studio executives, including senior VP Michelle Rejuan, couldn't agree on how to move forward. Baloney states that this is a laughable recurring problem at Lucasfilm. According to the article, a number of agents have previously reported that top filmmakers are often keen to sign on for a movie within the franchise, but find themselves hampered by issues of micromanagement and plot point by committee processes. Sounds like a bunch of baloney to me.
I see what you did there. No, I've heard that this was this is like a thing that it's not, and I don't know. I wonder how much of that is backlash over the sequel trilogy and the fact that there was no consistent through line with a writer. And so taken on their own, the movies are whatever, but when you try to piece them together into a coherent 3-act story, they're just mind-boggling. You know what I mean? And that was partly because J.J. Abrams had said, if I could do it all over again, I would go in with a plan. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You've never directed anything more important in your entire life.
Yeah,
They
they
do
never
not
will.
have a plan for this.
Yeah,
You know, I
it's
mean, the thought I think the thought was that, well, he did well with the Star Trek movies, which is undeniable. He did do well with the Star Trek movies. Those movies, which I don't give a damn about Star Trek, are all good. But the thing about those is that aside from recurring characters, they stand on their own.
yeah,
There's no consistent storytelling through line with them. It's not episode 7, 8, and 9. It's just, here's a Star Trek movie, here's a Star Trek movie, and here's a Star Trek movie. There's no connective tissue, really. Whereas with Star Wars, not only do you have to make it coherent within its 3 parts, but you also have to build upon what came before.
right.
And I thought that overall they did a poor job. But if you like the sequel trilogy, then you're certainly entitled to liking that and that sort of thing. I don't want to be. I thought we had this discussion many episodes back, but I've thought a lot about that being like a Star Wars gatekeeper, so to speak. And we're both OG trilogy guys, and I think that we poo-poo a lot, especially the sequel trilogy, but I think that people should be allowed to experience in whatever the best way for them is. So if that's your thing and you like the sequel trilogy, then God bless you.
Sure. Yeah, God bless you. But
I wonder how much of the micromanagement and plot by plot committee process is experienced by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
I can't imagine
I'm sure that's just where they're like, step away.
Yeah.
Don't come in here. We got Nerd Jesus working on here. Let's I think that's probably not the same for those two. It almost feels like it isn't, just because of what they've been able to.
And I think that Patty Jenkins was signed coming off of the original Wonder Woman,
right?
And then there were concerns after Wonder Woman 2 because it wasn't that good,
right? So there's that thing. And but we'll move away from the Star Wars universe, the Marvel universe. We'll head back into video games. Xbox 20th anniversary news. 76 games were made backwards compatible in an announcement with The Rock, who helped launch the original Xbox 20 years ago. Wow. The Halo Infinite multiplayer beta is free to everyone right now on Xbox Series machines and PC. Power On, the story of Xbox documentary, will be available on YouTube starting December 13th. And the Xbox Vault, in a cross promo with Red Notice, is an online immersive experience in which you could win prizes. For more details, head over to Xbox Wire.
And not a lot to say here other than these things. They
smell what The Rock is cooking.
Yeah, he's cooking something. There's not, I mean, they said there wasn't going to be any new announcements, but I know a lot of friends of mine are excited about the Halo thing.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Good for them. As part of the 1-year anniversary of the PS5 blog post on the PlayStation blog, Sony Interactive Entertainment and noted Olive Garden busboy Jim Ryan discussed that Sony has 25 exclusive titles in development at PlayStation Studios. While we are well aware that includes Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, and Wolverine, it leads us to speculate what the other 20 games are, especially with an eye towards recent acquisitions, Blue Point Games, Housemarque, Nexus, and Fire Sprite.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors, and the Game Awards are in a month, and I think there's a pretty good chance that we're going to see something there. So I don't think that there's a whole lot to speculate on, at least as of now. With next year, we know we're getting Horizon, we know we're getting Gran Turismo, we know we're getting God of War. So the puzzle pieces will continue to fall as they may.
Yeah. The nominees for the Game Awards were announced. While there is a slew of awards, the noms for Game of the Year are Deathloop from Arcane, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart from Insomniac, Resident Evil Village from Capcom, Metroid Dread, It Takes Two, and Psychonauts 2. The breakdown amongst publishers is as followed: Microsoft 20 nominations, Sony 11, Square Enix 10, EA 10. Any surprises, Brenton? Any omissions?
I don't think there was any omissions on that list from anything that I played. It was, to be honest, kind of a weak year, especially on the Sony side of things, which I think is pretty accurately reflected within the nominations. I believe Psychonauts 2 will win Game of the Year, but I think that the case could also be made for Resident Evil Village. The difference here is it's kind of like when you have, like, a lot of the times with the Oscars, the movies that win are ones that are like that released right around the awards because they have the mind share. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that, I think, it hurt Resident Evil because it was released way back in like February. I can't speak to the quality of it because I'm a big bitch and I don't play those games.
Right.
The only game on this list that I've played is Ratchet and Clank, and while it was a great game, I don't think that it is Game of the Year material. So from everything I've heard, Psychonauts 2 is a strong candidate.
Any predictions for next year?
No.
Based on what we know.
Halo.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite, God of War, Ragnarok, Horizon. There's probably more that I can't think of, but God of War and Horizon are going to be major players.
In Ragnarok, is Thor going to come on, and then we're going to hear the music, and that's going to get me all excited.
Did you watch the trailer? You watched it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did watch it.
When we did the State of Play?
Yeah, when we did this, yeah.
Oh, they don't show his full body. Hang on one second. Because I'm going to show you what Thor looks like in Ragnarok. And it's said that it's more accurate towards the actual version from Norse mythology of what Thor would have looked like.
Oh wow, sexy.
Yeah. And he's voiced by he's going to be voiced by Ryan Hurst, who's probably most well known recently as Opie in Sons of Anarchy, but he played the big white kid in Remember the Titans, the one that gets paralyzed.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
Ryan Hurst.
I like him.
Yeah. So
strong side,
weak side, left side.
Left side. Yeah, left side. All right. All right. Goosebumps. All right. Eternals won the weekend box office for the second straight week, and it pushes domestic to 118 million. Clifford the Big Red Dog, which is also available on Paramount Plus, came in second, while Dune, Bond, and Venom round out the top 5.
It had a pretty steep drop off. Eternals did, but there's not a lot of competition right now. I think the people who wanted to see Bond, Dune, and Venom probably have seen it.
And also, like, Bond's now streaming. You can rent it for $20.
Okay. And Dune's on
HBO Max. Yeah.
Clifford, we watched the first 45 minutes of it, and it reminded me a lot of our criticism of Tom and Jerry, where it was like, we don't need to force the humans.
We just need Big Red Dog.
Yeah. And we didn't get, it was 45 minutes in, and we didn't get a whole lot of that. And like, even my kids were like, why isn't Clifford on more? So
it is literally called Clifford the Big Red
probably Dog. Not a strong showing. So
no, it's too bad. We grew up loving Clifford. In other Marvel news, rumors are abound for the comeback of 2 characters. Daredevil, which bombed with Ben Affleck, but succeeded as a Netflix series starring Charlie Cox, could be set to join the MCU. A talent grid was leaked by industry insider Twitter account at RPK_News1. Additionally, word comes by the way of website Giant Freaking Robot. Norman Reedus, who is on record saying he would like to play Ghost Rider, is rumored to be in talks for the role. Norman Reedus seems like a perfect person for Ghost Rider. I didn't want to really comment when you sent me that because I was just like, oh, I feel like we'll talk about this on the show. If anyone, like, he had a show about being a motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
So
Ride with Norman Reedus.
Yeah. And so it's just like, he's a motorcycle guy. He's got that like grungy kind of look to him.
Right.
He's definitely like, a badass to whatever degree. And then, we can play a badass at the very least. It seems pretty freaking perfect.
Yeah. There's a lot of rumors that Charlie Cox could be in for No Way Home. It was suggested to me that Matt Murdock could be Tom Holland's lawyer, or Peter Parker's lawyer, that's how he could be introduced. Cool. to the MCU. I think that would be maybe a neat nod,
right?
But not. Let's not make him like a character. You know what I mean? Like an Easter egg. Let's make it an Easter egg that could eventually evolve. Don't make it
right. Exactly.
Yeah, right. So, and then, Norman Reedus, like you said, probably the perfect person to play Ghost Rider. It's just that he will be replacing literal and figurative national treasure Nicolas Cage in the role.
Right.
So big shoes to fill.
You're not replacing Nicolas Cage. You can't replace Nicolas Cage.
Right.
You are just taking on a different motorcycle.
Right. Right.
So, but Michael Keaton confirms he is filming Vulture stuff.
You missed one.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I was so excited about
that one. Michael Keaton.
He's
filming Vulture stuff.
Yeah, of course he is.
I can't think of what it would be for though.
Who knows?
Because Morbius is done, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen him in the trailer for it. And No Way Home's clearly done.
Yeah. Who knows?
Craven the Hunter. That's all.
Could be it.
Venom.
But we wouldn't be filming Venom. Who knows? Maybe he just honestly, maybe he's just doing it on his iPhone at home.
That's possible.
It's just like that's technically accurate.
Yeah.
Tom Holland thinks he shouldn't be playing Spider-Man into his 30s, and maybe they should make a Miles Morales movie because we said it, and so it had to happen. Also said that Uncharted was far more physically demanding than Spider-Man. It should also be noted that he helped rewrite the ending to No Way Home.
Or at least he thought he did.
Sure.
Because they don't want him to spoil it. Yeah, sure, Tom.
Sure, Tom. Yeah. Spider-Man holds Mjolnir.
I'm sorry, what? Mjolnir?
Is that I never really know how to say it.
Mjolnir?
Is it Mjolnir?
Yeah.
Mjolnir? I actually never know how to say it because they never actually say it.
Mjolnir.
I've never heard anyone actually say it. Yeah. I've only ever seen it. They always just say it's Thor's hammer.
Right. Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. It's good. Thank you for
J.
It's a soft J. Cool.
Yeah,
I've
that was
never heard.
ghastly.
I literally why I said it though because I've never heard anyone say it.
That was ghastly.
Good. And we figured it out. Mjolnir.
We didn't figure it out. I figured it out.
No, we figured it out together because you helped me say it because I've never heard anyone say it. It's always Thor's hammer. Hey, we learn by making mistakes, Brenton.
I don't know.
It wasn't even a mistake. I literally, if I've never heard it.
Speaking of mistakes.
Yeah.
The Rock
would like to play James Bond. So, number one, I don't think The Rock is British. So that's a problem.
Can't be confirmed.
Two, that would also have to have him, be interesting to women and have chemistry. Another problem.
So that's the thing is, I think he's interesting to women. I just don't think that he has chemistry.
Okay, in the movies, it also feels like the women don't connect with him. Like it's just
that's a chemistry thing.
Right. Yeah. He's interesting.
I think women are interested in him.
Oh, sure. He's a nice, handsome, bulky guy, of course. Right. But he would like to play James Bond. I would like to weigh more than 135 pounds. There's certain things you just
hang out with me for a week.
Well, I mean, in a good way.
Oh,
a good way.
Just saying.
You're true. I mean, you took the words. All right. Yeah. There's that thing where it's just some things just can't happen, Dwayne. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Just make a movie exactly the same. Everyone does it. Everyone makes a spy movie. You just did one. You just did a heist movie. Do a spy movie. You're The Rock. You do whatever you want. It's not that hard. Just don't have a woman be in the movie that you're supposed to be sexually attracted to because that doesn't work. Everything else.
Media recommendations.
Okay, so I have been reading Wonder by RJ Palacio to my class, and it turns out I really like it. After I got into it, and I've read a little bit ahead of where we're at in the class, of course, but it's good. It's a good storyline about, in case no one knows what it's about. It's a kid who's been homeschooled his entire life because it has a facial deformity, and now he's into school, and so he's dealing with the pressures of having kids be mean to him, being nice to him. It's like a good coming of age, like 5th grade. It's definitely 5th grade level reading book, for sure. It's short chapters, 2-3 page chapters. So if you have a kid at home that's in that age range, I definitely suggest reading it. But it's also just it's got a good amount of humor. It's fun read. It's been nice to read it to the kids. So I've enjoyed that. On the exact opposite end, finished Dope Sick. The last episode came out. Michael Keaton was not doing any Vulture stuff in this, I can confirm, but it's really good. He's awesome in it.
Or
the whole
was he?
cast is, well, we don't know.
Yeah.
Off camera. The whole cast is really good. I would definitely say the lawyers, the two main lawyers that you see throughout the whole episode or throughout the whole season 8 episodes are fantastic. And then we're almost done with second season of Ted Lasso, and I just love it. I love Ted Lasso. No spoilers, but Jamie Tart does something. Jamie Tart is my favorite character on the show, and it's not close. If you watched Ted Lasso, I just love Jamie Tart. He's everything that you want in that star soccer player mode. So he does something though that hit me so hard, and then there's a moment after he does something where Roy Kent does something, and it hits you. If you have any emotions at all, I don't want to spoil Ted Lasso for anyone, but if you have any emotions at all, that'll hit you. It's a great moment of that show, and it's a really good show, and I'm sad that the season's almost over for us. So I actually watched the first season twice and the first half of the second season twice because Janie wanted to catch up, but I can't remember. I know everyone's watched Ted Lasso for the most part. It feels like everyone has, but it's fun to go back and rewatch it because then things and you can see other things. So Ted Lasso.
Sure. I meant to say this last week and I just whiffed on it. The Harder They Fall, which is a Netflix Western starring Idris Elba, Jonathan Majors, among others. It's very good. It's I think it's pretty well produced. The music in it's pretty solid. They meld kind of the hip hop with the Old West sort of thing. They hit on a lot of the tropes of Westerns, but I think they do it in a good way. And then I had a run on older movies nice. In the last week. Moneyball was trending on Netflix.
Yeah.
Top 10 this week.
I almost watched it.
I
almost watched it.
Yeah. I was like, fuck it. Let's watch Moneyball.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
It's great.
You know what I mean? And for some reason that got me in the mood to watch one of my ultimate guilty pleasure comfort food movies, which is a Guy Ritchie movie named Snatch.
Yeah.
Which stars Brad Pitt.
You were just in a Brad Pitt mood.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
You're just give me Brad.
Brad Pitt, Benicio del Toro, and of course, Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Movie's made. It's great. It's what it is.
It's a really good movie. It's funny. Yeah. It's about British tough guys.
Yeah. That's a Guy Ritchie movie. British tough guys. Either you love him or you hate it. It's great. And I love them too.
I like it because they are so polite while telling each other to fuck off.
Yeah.
It's something to behold. I finished Far Cry Platinum Trophy, Far Cry 6, Platinum number 90 for me.
Nice.
And I started on PS5 a game called The Pathless. It's an indie game. It's pretty short by all accounts. It's interesting. Really good music. I would say it's scored very beautifully. The art's kind of interesting. It's just kind of a lot of puzzles, that sort of thing. And then I also started playing for the first time. I know I'm a little bit behind on this, is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is the Switch Zelda. It might be on Wii U also, I'm not even sure. Game of the year from whatever year that it came out, 2017, I believe.
That sounds right.
It was, I'm not that far in, so I don't have a ton to say, and I'm playing it very slowly. So, but I have a lot of problems with it, but that I can maybe speak to when I'm further. The thing about it is the problems that I have with it aren't I'm not breaking any new ground with it. They're pretty consistent criticisms of the game, but criticisms nonetheless. But I'll have more to say on that as I go, I suppose. I was telling Ty, because he's played some of it, I said that this is the type of game that I will become either completely immersed with and just lose days upon days with, or in a week from now, I'm never going to play it again. Like those are the only two options. There's no middle ground.
Okay.
So there's that. BXG podcast posts every Friday at 9 a.m. on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and other podcast services around the globe. 9 a.m., 6 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. Hawaiian.
Aloha.
And official BXG social media accounts, facebook.com/BXG podcast, Instagram @BXG podcast, @GTFills, @Y2B, Twitter @BXG podcast, @GTFilson, @Y2B, the YouTube channel, which again, there's a link tree in the bios on Instagram and Twitter that you can find a quick link to the YouTube channel. But that's going to have reviews, exclusive trailer reactions, any other topics that I find interesting enough to make a video about, basically. Will be up there. The Red Notice review will be up there this week, and a lot of reviews next week coming at you. We're going to do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for the Thanksgiving holiday. I've never seen this movie, so that'll be fun. I've seen
it 30 times.
Right. So that'll be fun. Plus, we're going to have the challenge. Obviously, we're going to have a portion of the Cowboy Bebop episodes, and then possibly Ghostbusters. That's not a for sure, but we might have it. We'll see. Yeah. So there's that. Tell your friends, tell your families,
tell your mothers
about the unmistakable essence of the BXG podcast. And actually, I want to dial back for a quick second.
Sure.
I am hoping to make December our biggest month. We're about 280, give or take, downloads from 3,000, and I would like to hit that by the end of the calendar year. That is my goal.
Let's go, LFG.
So really and truly, tell your friends, tell your families, tell everybody you know, share with 50,000 of your closest friends. We are still doing the giveaway slowly but surely. Our YouTube subscriber numbers are going up. We are doing the giveaways over there. We haven't lost sight of that goal. So subscribe over on the YouTube channel to be eligible to win a gift card, an Amazon gift card, and subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe again, download all of our episodes, delete them, and re-download them. And let's do this together.
Yeah, you want to get in this. This is it, like Fast and Furious. It's family,
right? Like the
but mostly
Garden,
for us.
Your family, but
mostly for us.
Yeah. Take care, friends.
Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.